If this next portion of the tournament was on Netflix, it would be entitled Stranger Things, because we're about to take a turn for the weird here for WCS Valencia, as Haas will be taking to the main stage, going up against Elazer in what's sure to be a bit of a thunderous best of 5 here to start things off. I'm joined to my left-hand side by Rotterdam and Pig, and overall, yeah, might be strange. You think?
I'm a little bit disappointed. Because you're up here, I think we should have you in the casting room.
One day.
I mean, every time I see this guy go into a big tournament match, all I can hear in my memory is you just dying.
I still can't watch that video. I still can't do it. But yeah, so overall, there is a big, I said, discrepancy between how these two have been able to fare in the last year or so, Rotterdam.
Yeah, Elazer really excelled and took his game to the next level in 2016. Early 2017, he took a small step back, but he was focusing on school. Just a month or two ago, by now, he finished up school and he said, all right, I can finally be the real pro gamer that I want to be. And he was very confident. Even after missing WCS Austin, Elazer said, I'm still going to make it to the global finals. Well, he took a pretty big step at John Chopping, where he made it to the semifinals and could have perhaps even made it to the finals. Had a couple of very close games against Cerro. Elazer is legit in every shape and form. And then we have Haas, who's obviously really good at StarCraft, but plays a different game than most of us.
Right, his own brand of StarCraft, something that is kind of a little bit, throws a lot of people for the loop, I would say, Pig.
Yeah, have you ever played the game when you were a child, James? A question for you. Pin the tail on the donkey.
Yes, a long time ago, yes.
Well, every time Haas is playing StarCraft, it's pin the dark shrine on the minimap.
Oh, okay, I like that one.
That's how he plays StarCraft. You know, sometimes it's a Stargate, sometimes it's a gateway, but he's always going to be proxying something. He's always going to be doing something cheeky. So I can't wait to see. I mean, my favorite Haas games from memory is you've got like 3 different proxy text structures all over the minimap, and you're kind of going, what is going on in this game? But he finds a way to make it work, and he consistently makes it to these top 16s, these top 8s.
All right, well, I think Smix is ready for our next series here. Smix, you ready for some Haas action?
I am. I kind of wish you were casting this so we could see you lose it one more time, but unfortunately that's not the case. But of course, we are going to head right into this one. It's interesting because we saw Nurchiel already move on to the round of 8, and now another Polish Zerg and Elazer hopes to join him. As you guys mentioned, he did make it top 4 at WCS Jönköping, and he's hoping to hopefully do the same here, but he has to face this Taiwanese Protoss Haas, who's known for his very aggressive strategies. Will his bag of tricks be enough for our next match? It's Elazer and Haas.
Ever the endearing soul, Haas, who has become a fan favorite in the last year or 2, or 2 years, I should say, takes to the stage now against Elazer. Elazer with some amazing performances. Who can forget what he was able to do over at BlizzCon? And for Haas, this is going to be a tall mountain to climb, Rotterdam.
Absolutely. But he did beat Bly twice in the round of 32, and that is actually pretty impressive. Doing it once, I think we all understand that you can lose a best of 3 against the type of first play that Haas is. But since he did it twice, he obviously did quite a few things right. Now, I wasn't able to watch the games myself because we were standing up here, but I watched the Twitter account of Wax Angel, and apparently we missed the most epic Haas kind of like series of all time. And he said, whatever happens, happens, but we need a best of 60 something between Haas and Bly, because apparently these two are made for each other. Now, I believe that. However, I'm not sure if Elazer is going to fall for those same kind of tricks.
Right.
Like, there is a chance that this is going to be more of a boring series where you have a Protoss player just running into this concrete wall that is Elazer over and over again.
Yeah.
But maybe he can find openings with prisms. He does love zealots with charge. I guess it's going to have to get very, very messy for Haas somehow to get something going in this series.
Yeah, it's one thing to beat Bly, but going up against Elazer is another thing.
Elazer's the guy, you're doing your all-in, everything's coming together, and there's 20 Zerglings that somehow slipped into your natural and main base at the same time. He's always poking and prodding, and he's finding these little holes in his opponent's play. Realistically, Elazer, we saw him in the Challenger Series doing really well, getting second place to Cerro. I feel like every tournament recently, the only thing in Elazer's way of a championship is Cerro right now. Everyone else, he makes look almost silly. And outside of that matchup, I just can't imagine any other player really standing up to Elazer, and especially not Haas. I think, you know, Elazer's got a big advantage.
I think Elazer looking at this bracket as well, like I do agree with you, Pig, I'm not trying to disagree, but I think maybe like a special or something, right? Because ZVT traditionally has been, I guess if we have to pinpoint one matchup, maybe the slightly weaker one for Elazer, but all the Terrans are at the bottom.
Right.
So Elazer is probably looking at this like, all right, you know, Nurture, well, we've played against each other like 160 times, and I'm not exaggerating, by the way. That's like their actual map number. He's like, well, I can take care of Haas. That's a pretty good drawing for me. Then I get Nurture. Then maybe I can get my revenge on Zero. And then in the final, well, let's hope Neeb makes it again or something, because all the Terrans are at the bottom. And even though Elazer, like I said, had a good John chopping, needs a little more to have that repeat performance at the global finals, where obviously he wants to be.
There's been a lot of runs for Elazer through Challenger as well as into the actual WCS circuit itself, where it's been a lot of Zerg versus Zerg, but he has dispatch of strong Protoss as well. I think Harstem and Showtime, very close series, admittedly, but those are two names that you can't sniff at in the European scene in the Challenger. So they play a different style to Haas, but it shows that his fundamentals against Protoss are very strong, right?
Yeah, Lazer's able to be all over the place. He's a player who can simultaneously defend and harass and mix in drops and these sort of things at the same time.
Yeah.
We've seen him dig into his bag of tricks and pull swarm hosts out rather than the standard kind of Hydra Lingbane. I'm not sure if we'll see that here. I think he'll probably go for a very just get up your Lingbane, get up your Hydras, and we might even see him open up with safety roaches in a lot of these games just to stop any kind of tricky adept pressure.
I totally agree with Pig there. I wouldn't get too fancy. I wouldn't try to like rely on crazy fungals or neural or swarmos. Just macro up, take the bases, probably get Overlord speed every single game to make sure if you're playing against 1 Stargate or 3 Stargates. Like, I do think it's going to be fun, but once again, I really think that Haas needs to get something big going for himself, like a big snipe on the fort or a lot of damage early on to really turn this into competitive games. Because if the first harass and the second harass gets shut down, I think Elazer is going to run away with the game.
And scout out the entirety of the map in some of these situations as well. Thank you very much, gents, as we are now ready as Haas goes up against Elazer here at WCS Valencia.
All right, welcome everybody to Elazer versus Haas. I'm in control. He is Todd. We have an interesting PvZ. I know that the kind of mood around this is another David versus Goliath. It seems to be a bit of a lopsided match on paper, but Todd, I mean, what do you think about Haas? Does he have any chance at all?
Definitely, yeah. Roddy talked about a concrete wall in Elazer. I feel like Haas might be the concrete wall here, built out of cannons and cheeses. And Elazer's the one that has to break him. But here we are. Game number 1, we're going to be starting on Proxima Station in the south, playing in the blue, and as Protoss, it is Haas.
Haas, a bit of a fan favorite. He just plays an offbeat style. He is known for that cheese, but he's taken some really interesting games. Have something kind of strange happening here, perhaps, but before we do that, in the top right-hand side, his opponent, the Titan himself, it's Elazer. Just a gateway. Okay.
Yeah, no, not just any gateway. It's on the outer wall, on the outer area of his base. And Haas, what we've seen in the past is that if he scouts a very greedy opener, sometimes he'll drop down a forge and go for a cannon rush. So in this case, he saw that there was no spawning pool. He knows there's going to be a hatchery down somewhere. He has a decision to make here. Does he go for a forge and cannon it or not? Doesn't seem so here.
No, and with that probe actually kind of coming back into the main, it looks like nope, it's going to turn back around. I was just going to say, if that actually goes back and returns the minerals, it'll be very awkward timing, but he's just going to do a 1 gateway expands the stuff. This is about as normal as it gets, to be honest with you, from Haas. We've seen a lot of Korean Protoss players favor the gateway opening. It does delay the Nexus a little bit, but like you said, Todd, it gives him that moment to be like, okay, I scouted you. You are doing something mega cheesy. I will go for the can rush, but he's not going to do that here.
But it's still funny because, like, if there was one map where you could expand, like the easiest, right? You got a pocket expansion, and then you just have a small ramp to wall off. It would be this one.
Yeah.
Yet he expands outside, and Elazer is going to scout this and already think, what the hell is this? Like,
that's the way he plays, though. That, you know, he does things a little bit differently. He's not the fastest player. He's not the most mechanical. He comes into this tournament a bit of an underdog to a lot of players, but yet here he is in the round of 16, and he's facing off against Elazer, who is one of the best European Zergs. Certainly last year was a big highlight. If you guys watched BlizzCon, Elazer had a fantastic run, winning for himself a lot of money.
That's the perfect world from Haz. And I feel like I might already have the answer as to what we might be seeing. He's been making his own brand of Protoss for a long time, but one of the things that he's done that not many other players have done is getting a ton of oracles. We already see the first target, usually. If you already took this base and this security, what would be really easy? To take the pocket expansion then. Go into a lot of gas, drop down more targets, make a ton of oracles. Sometimes he even goes for attacks with a lot of adepts with this. That's why it's so hard to play against this guy, because you need to know exactly what he's doing. Elazer is known for rushing pneumatized carapace, which here will be, like if there was ever a time to be on top of your scouting, it's against this guy. So we'll see if he starts that here.
Okay, Probe does poke into the third, sees the third hatch, so has pretty good information here as well. He's gonna go with the Void Ray first. Won't be the Oracle just yet. You could follow that up with the Oracle, but that gets into the depths of weirdness that even Haas might be reluctant to go into. What I do want us to key in on here, though, and Todd kind of touched on this, keep your eye on that probe outside of the base. It's a little bit of a, I mean, I can go for a Stargate opening, but drop a pylon, a gateway, and all of a sudden, you can actually make a secret army outside of the base.
And when I see a Void Ray like this and then a Twilight Council, I'm already thinking Glaives, then a ton of adepts being warped in across the map thanks to that probe that then could even get a gateway there for quicker warp-ins. But we see another gas actually being taken here by has no additional gateways just yet. It's just the one. So still might be mass air.
Fast third, maybe, inside there. Could be anything, and that's actually what works for Haz. You can see he's going to go with that kind of odd pylon to add a few more gateways. With just the Twilight Council, and it's not yet upgrading, it could just be, oh no, it's charged, so we're going to have a little bit offbeat. But this is, to put it into perspective, for Elazer, he knows that all of these things are capable. He knows that he could be taking a third, which would be really offbeat for Haz. He could be doing Dark Shrine. He could be. It's actually a difficult spot for Elazer, who, in many ways, is the better player, but he has no idea what he's facing. There you go. I kind of call this. I knew this was coming.
7 more gates, 8 more gates.
And
he's going up
Zealots.
9 gateways in all, pure charge loads. I don't know why he's still mining gas. Actually, might just drop down a Dark Shrine behind this because I mean we've seen Haz in the past. That was against Terran, and that's when he broke Kaelaris. He stopped mining gas here actually. But yeah, we've seen him in the past go for air units and then DTs, which doesn't make sense because the opponent's gonna have turrets or spores in this case. But I mean, can Elazer somehow expect this? He didn't scout much.
Does he have a Bailey Nest? Because I'll tell you what, right now, if he doesn't have a Bailey Nest, he is in a lot of trouble. He does not.
This is so weird. Elazer is known for getting pneumatized carapace and scouting non-stop. Now, maybe because of the Void Ray. Maybe he saw it was going to be a Void Ray, and it's like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother. But now, guess what? He might be getting surprised by this. And if you get surprised by this, you just die.
This is also a weird collision of things. Like, he's just going straight Hydra and maybe adds a Bailey Nest a little bit later. And that's actually a fantastic answer to what he's facing. But as you pointed out, Todd, he actually has no frickin' clue that that's what he's facing. But luck might be a lady tonight for him because he's about to kind of find out. But if he's caught knocking down these rocks, if the charge lot starts going up, he's in a lot of trouble.
He saw this. He even tags the Hydralist. He's going to come in from behind here. This could be a disaster for Elazer if he cannot retreat on creep.
Here come the boys. They're going to jump on that Queen already. The Hydras are backing up. There are Lings coming out and some more Hydras. But Elazer knows he needs to buy time. A critical mass of Hydras could be really good here, but a too early engagement could be death. He's going to engage on the ramp. Good surface area there. The Zealot's having a tough time getting any purchase. They kill some drones, Todd, but without mining gas behind this, it's got to do a lot of damage right now.
Yeah, Elazer's trying to make the most of this. He kites back, goes back into the ramp. Now he's making a bunch of Zerglings to tank at the front. Why the Hydralisk will try to get rid of the Zealots. Oracles fly in, but they're going to get sniped.
Yeah, Zealots show up. They're not getting anything done. Both the Oracles die. That's a lot of the gas represented right there. Zealots are going to back up, but look at that production tab. There's no upgrades.
Zerglings break dancing, and Elazer is just going to go on the chase.
Oh, is he doing it? Doing a little bit of the dances. Had a few of those guys, and the Zealot's going to back up here, but I mean, honestly, if you look back at Haas's base, there's no third Nexus. There's no tech switch happening here. He's already, yep, that's it. GG. First game done and dusted, as Hilarious would say. And Haas tried something a bit cheeky. There's the side of his face. And there's the center of it. But it never changes, by the way. That's one thing. Everyone watch Haas's face. It could be the most cheesy game you've ever seen in your life, but as far as he's concerned, he's looking at a, like...
It's another day in the office.
An accounting report, yeah. Just, interesting. Zealots didn't work. Meanwhile, Elazer's like shaking his head, but inside his head he's going, what happens next? Those one-base zealots, or two-base zealots, really, but that's the flavor. And Haas, the downside for him is this is about, in my opinion, as good of a map as it gets for a Protoss versus Zerg. And I feel like he squandered that a little bit. It had a moment where
that was a poor execution. Because like if he had gotten the full wrap around, like if literally just moved commanded behind those Hydralisks, they couldn't have pulled back.
Yeah.
And then those initial Hydralisks would have died. And I think Haas would have been able to literally snowball from that position with just too many Zealots for Elazer to handle. So he kind of like butchered out a little bit.
For me, when you see a build that just gets kind of slammed down and it's not scouted, there's nothing that happened to kind of paint that build as bad. To me, that means that it's not a very intelligent. I mean, it's like flipping a coin really hard. It's like I hope Elazer is going like fast 4-base, like laying and delaying the Hydras, I guess. But if he's not doing that, I'm in a lot of trouble. A lot of Zergs right now are just going Hydra heavy, which is exactly what Elazer did, and it just naturally countered what he was facing. Now, to be fair, Elazer didn't have any drones at his third, so he was powering up a little bit earlier on, I guess.
Yeah, he was getting a lot of units. He didn't overdrone or anything, but the lack of scouting worries me a little bit. Yeah. Like, I feel like he got away with it this time, but it could definitely cost him a game here and there if he's not careful. And you don't want somebody like Haas to start gaining momentum over you, because that's when it all goes downhill.
Oh, man. Then the voices in your head really start saying some weird stuff. But
what do they say?
Well, I mean, if you're down like 0-1 or 0-2 to Haas, you start to see ghosts in places they're not there. You start to get really worried. I think, too, some of the awesome videos we saw, too, where Special was being interviewed about his match against Haas yesterday. And I think he had some sage advice for Elazer where he was like, well, listen, I mean, even if I fall back behind, I think I'm the better player. As long as I scout, I should be in good shape. That was kind of what the guys at the desk talked about. They feel like this match is going to be difficult for Haas because if Elazer is doing those things, then he should be in really good shape. But as you said, Todd, he didn't scout that game.
Yeah.
So he might have got a little bit lucky there.
We'll see if he fixes that or not. They're at least past the initial scouts. Here we are, game number 2. We're going to be playing on Sequencer. And starting at the bottom left-hand side of the map, playing as the Blue Protoss, we have Haas. He looks angry.
He looks the same at all times. His opponent, the top right-hand side, coming out of Poland, it is Elazer. Top performing non-Korean at the WCS World Championship last year, had an amazing run. Did really well for himself, was really excited about that. He actually came in as a replacement, I believe. Was that true last year? Do I remember that correctly? I always say this stuff, then I second guess myself.
No, yeah, he was like in the last place, I think, tied or something. Yeah. Maybe with True. T-Drogo was the one that came in after. I don't know.
No,
the whole situation was like complicated. I think he might have been. He might have originally been supposed to play a tiebreaker, but then because somebody couldn't come, then he was in. No, you're right. You're right, Jay.
Okay.
Right. I got you back.
Somewhere in there. It is Forge Gateway here, by the way, Todd, so
yeah.
we are going to see some amazing shenanigans. And this is delayed, by the way. There's nothing starting at the natural. The probe's going to pull back as if it's not really that interested in doing what it's about to do. But I'm guessing like 8 pylon block, cannon rush. Get ready for it.
You just 8?
At least. Just going to go with the 1 to start. And
Elazer is actually going to check for it, but it might be too late. Let's see if Haas gets the full wall off. No.
He will. He will not be denied.
Oh.
You can't stop it then. Oh, wow. Or can you?
Oh my God. Oh.
This might turn into
Whoa. Absolute. This is bad.
Yeah. This is,
he invested a lot into this. That's 2 pylons that are going to finish.
Yeah.
And behind this, Haas is going to start a Nexus.
That is, well, how do you best describe this? This is, you know those nightmares people talk about in movies where you show up to school naked? This is actually showing up to school naked. There's a lot of people watching this. Haas is famous for his cannon rushes, and what he just did right there was he just biffed it. That's like when a guy on a skateboard just face plants right in front of the school bus of Spanish bikini model.
In front of his crush.
Yes.
That hurts.
No, a whole bus full of crushes, man. Men and women, just beautiful people, all of them. So where do you go from here? It's just going to expand, adds the cannon for posterity, obviously, to try and save some face. You can take a fast third on Sequencer.
He's only on 1 gas. Like, it feels like there's just the whole situation is really bad. He lost the probe. He spent a lot of minerals on something that achieved nothing and didn't punish Elazer for what he thought was a greedy build.
Well, I actually love this, by the way. So we would look at this and chuckle, but honestly, if you fall behind, you need to do something different. You need to do something offbeat. And this is, in my opinion, a really great way to try and get back into it. But
I mean, what are the chances that Elazer will check for it? That's the thing. It's very low. Maybe if Elazer can somehow sense that something's up, he's going to be dropping here, so he's going to soon realize there's no third Nexus there. Maybe doing some damage, like the fact that Has went for this quick third Nexus, even though if he's playing from behind, he's going to have even less units. Like so far, what is it going to be? Just one Stalker against 8 Lings?
Yeah, no Mothership Core just yet. The Stargate is
he's going to drop in both
finish.
bases.
In theory, yeah, he's got some Lings moving over there. So
yeah, there's going to be
quite a bit.
The left-hand side Lings are going to go in the main, and these are going to be for the natural. What's one Stalker supposed to do against this? I guess he can pull back the probes to that one cannon, but in the main, Has is going to take damage.
He will take some damage. Ling's going to jump in here. There's a cannon nearby, so he can kind of thin out the damage here. They're actually just going to run right on past into the main base. Still no Mothership Core, by the way. An Oracle coming out will be able to help here. Deflects a little bit there, but so much damage inside the main. Keep in mind, Has already took some damage. He's behind the workers earlier on here, and there's that Stalker you talked about, Todd, doing what it can, a little bit of fancy footwork, trying to buy some time. Ling's jumping on top of the probes. 7 probes have died already. Ling's going to make their way into the main.
Some great
control. It's going to get worse.
Some great control here by Elazer, who's droning up behind this. He's already on 40 drones to 27 probes here. Has is just going to be taking some more damage, and with that, it's 41 drones to 27 probes.
Yeah.
And a Zerg that just can go into a crazy amount of drones here from there if he wants to, quite easily, and he knows he's going to be able to get away with it.
Really good move by Elazer. When a Protoss kind of lends themselves in that direction, they're put in a really tough spot. Like, do they go no Stargate, no tech whatsoever, and they have just the one cannon and try to cut that corner? Well, that's mega risky, because then you're not affecting the Zerg at all for like the first 10 minutes of the game. So Has went with the Stargate, but by going with the Stargate, it forced him to probably cut the corner of getting that Mothership Core out. I mean, he was just put in a spot where it felt like almost any choice he makes is going to be the wrong one because of what Elazer did. Really nice move by him.
And Has behind is going to be going into a Void Ray. I wouldn't be surprised if the plan was just to go into a lot of Stargate units here from there, but with Has, it's always so hard to predict. It's like the one thing you don't predict is the one thing he's going to do.
Yeah.
Lair about to finish now for Elazer. I wonder also what's going to be his tech choice, because right now, okay, there we have a Nidus starting. I think Elazer realizes he's done some damage. He's going to be able to get enough Queens and units that against a Stargate opener, he's going to render those Stargate units useless with the Queens, and then he's going to overpower on the ground with Roaches.
And it's going to be funny for Elazer, because someone later is going to be like, hey, man, he had a third Nexus actually this whole time. He's actually caught up and surpassed in workers has, but Elazer smells blood in the water. He's looking at this base. He says, you got one gateway, you have one Stargate, any kind of Nidus, like 3 Queens and whatever I can fit in the darn thing is going to kill you. And he's not wrong. There is that Nidus Worm going down inside the main, spotted by the last Zergling. And there's nothing Has can do. He's going to pull the probes.
Oh, he's even going for a Nexus, I think.
I think he might be faking it, to be honest with you.
Why did he block that? You want him to start that?
I think he's not worried. Here they are. The Queens have shown up, and GG is immediately called out as Has is going to go down 0-2 in his best of 5 so far. Elazer with a bit of a cheeky chuckle, that one. Got to be feeling good. Those first 2 games are about as easy as it gets for him.
He's pleased with himself, and he should be, because that was solid, you know, like he had the defense. The one drone changed everything right there.
Yeah.
He had the one drone getting the block onto the Spinions. Without that, his second base gets cannons, and then even taking the right-hand side one, because I don't think he had a drone outside of his natural either, out on the map.
I think you're
so
right.
Then how does he expand? And then you enter Haz's world, and you don't want to do that, because it's a very scary world.
No, that was...
It's like a reverse theme park.
They entered into the the bedroom that has the Narnia closet, but it's a Has Narnia closet, and it's you don't go in there. You don't go in that closet. It'll make you feel weird in all the wrong places. And Elazer's playing the right way. He did probably skip a little bit of scouting game 1, but made the right call in terms of army tech and not really powering up on drones, knowing he's playing against the ultra aggressive Has. And then in game number 2, great drone drill there, making sure that the cannon rush doesn't go down. Has falls behind and starts to make the wrong choices. So Elazer is now up in a quick 2-0 in this best of 5, looking good. And it's up to Has. And this is where Has, it's tough because he can't, Has doesn't like fall back on, well, okay, I'll go to standard play. That's what I do. Nope. He's got to keep trying really tricky stuff. And when you're the trickster and you're down 0-2 and you can't lose a single map, that becomes even more dangerous, in my opinion.
Yeah, so far Has not able to find any success with his very specific builds there, and Elazer, really solid. Like you can tell that Korea practice, he's been in Korea training, really paying off. I think he's going into this tournament as well with a lot of confidence. Very recently, he's been very successful against pretty much everybody in the WCS circuit that he's met, except for one guy, and that's Cyril, which he would then meet potentially in the semi-finals here.
Well, he'll play Nurgio if he wins this one, right?
Yeah.
That's also
against
awesome.
whom he's been doing all right.
Yeah, it's just cool because they're like countrymen and they kind of alternate as the top dogs in a very respectable country. But having a momentary pause here as we set up this next game, getting into it. Guys, you saw the voting that's up there. If you're interested, for all these matches, you just hashtag the name of the players that are playing in the match. You can vote on who you think's going to win. I think that young person just did a dab, so let's get the camera quickly off of them. Do not encourage such tomfoolery. Also, tomorrow, cool announcement's going to be shown off the war chest coming to StarCraft 2. Big, exciting new stuff, Todd.
How much do you know about it?
I know everything, Todd. That's not true. I don't know. But it's cool. Good stuff coming up for us. The lovely people of Spain.
There are a lot of Zergs actually in that top side of the bracket. I mean, Zergs, there are half the players in that round of 16 with 8. But yeah, just to think that if Elazer wins there, he plays Nurture or Stefano, and then you still got True and Cyril above that. Very Zerg heavy.
Yeah, which is the matchup
bracket.
that Cyril seems to have on absolute lockdown. So it's looking good for Cyril. But, you know, it's looked good for him in the past, and people have tripped him up, so we'll have to see. Elazer looking better as well. I know that Young Shiping, WCS, was kind of the first event after he had just gotten done with school. So it was him coming out and really showing his practice a little bit better. And now here we are a few weeks later, where he's had more time to be a full-time top dog, top contender. We're just, hopefully you guys are having fun at home. We got a lot of great matches coming up as well. I mean, we have a lot of Zerg at the top, Todd, but below that we have a Elazer Massa TVT. That's the next one. I know we always say this, we're almost apologetic about TVTs, but that's going to be a good one. Massa and Elazer are both very good TVTs.
Are we apologetic? Yeah, we're not.
What?
Yeah, we're not apologetic about TVT. It's like one of the sickest matchups
it's
out
me.
there.
I'm just I'm stuck in that habit, I guess. We don't need to be anymore. You're right. But we're in game 3, guys. We're in Abyssal Reef in the top left-hand side from Taiwan, needing your support. It's the Protoss player, Has.
His opponent in the bottom right-hand side playing as the red Zerg, it is Elazer. What is Haz's version of Narnia like? Is it Silent Hill or more like Resident Evil?
I mean, if you're familiar with the Warhammer 40,000 universe, it's very Tzeentch. You kind of, you open up that closet and immediately just everything bends and moves in different directions. It just doesn't feel right. You begin to vomit but laugh at the same time.
What?
Yeah, you feel like you have to use the bathroom, but you don't because it's coming out of your eyes. It's all weird. It gets to a weird place. But Has going to scout this out. Behind that, there is that gas and gateway. I think, to me, this is him signifying that is his normal one gate expand opening. This is very popular in Korea, this style specifically. You get to avoid the forge because the forge can kind of set you back. There's a lot of gas openings from Zergs.
Yeah. I can't believe too that forge used to be the standard when I see the games of today. Like you tech so much faster, and it's great actually to follow the evolution of like build orders. You know, where for some time it was as well like Nexus first, and then people adapted, and you kind of worried a minimum about rushes, so you at least get that gateway so you can wall off. And everybody actually got really good nowadays about those early game cheeses. Very few of them still work, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's more about like the mid-game timings that you can hit and that you can kind of have to sell. There's no more all-ins like you had, or not that many, like you had once upon a time where like you go for it no matter what, even if you get scouted, and the opponent can barely still stop it anyway because the force fields are going to land and all that. It's a very different game nowadays.
The evolution of StarCraft is really fun to watch. I remember when they first gave the drop lord kind of early, like pre-layer, a lot of people were like, well, that's it. Goodbye, Protoss, no chance at all. And for a while, you know, Protoss did not know how to react to that. But of course, over time, things kind of got figured out a little bit. It's very strong. It keeps Protoss in check from just going completely ridiculous wall in.
And then here we are
with
8 Zergs in the top 16. You know, it's balanced.
You know, I mean, that's how it was supposed to be, though, with all those invasions. IE getting over-flooded like it was. Phoenix is now a Dragoon or a robot or something. He's in multiple bodies. Phoenix doesn't know where he is, okay? It's not in the top 8, that's for sure. But here we go. And Elazer's going to check around the map. This is the mark of someone that has been playing against Haz for at least 2 games.
Oh, pneumatized carapace, I love this from Elazer here. Gonna be getting on top of his scouting, regardless of Void Ray or anything.
Oh my God.
I don't care how many overloads
it.
it takes to send across the map. He needs to get some scouting done there.
Secret agent man, secret. There it is. It's in the bushes, playing a game of PUBG.
That's Nathaniel's style.
Oh, but it gets found.
Nathaniel's gets found.
Gets found.
As always.
And you know what? There's a mini little nice story about that. Elazer's working so hard to scout absolutely everything, and if you work hard and have kind of a blue-collar attitude too, dreams really do come true. You'll find that it has pro. But he's going to take a fast third, by the way.
2 Void Rays, 2 Overlords actually were dispatched to both bases to make sure that Elazer sees everything there. He doesn't want to get tricked. He's up 2-0. All he has to do against Haz is scout what he's up against, and then he's going to be all right. But in this case, Haz always makes adjustments depending on the information that the opponent has. And in this case, he's like, well, I can start some tech if you're going to scout it and counter it. So what do? Take a 3rd base.
Yep, not bad. I use this a lot, but my good friend Idra once kind of famously said that cheesy players, when they like double down on macro, that too is a form of cheese because you just never expected them to do that. Granted, Greg may have been a little bit paranoid about everything being considered cheese, but he's not wrong.
He said a lot of things.
He said a lot of things.
I don't think we should take all of them literally.
Very quotable guy. But I like what you said about Elazer. Elazer has seen absolutely everything. He's playing very safe. He's up 2-0. You have to be careful not about playing too safe because he did get here by not playing too safe. And if you like double down and start cutting drones and making units because you're just worried about the possibility of something showing up, that's where you can get into some trouble. But what he's doing right now with pneumatized carapace and speedlings, I like it a lot.
Stargate number 3. I was like, when I saw Stargate 2, I was like, there is always a Stargate 3 with this. Now, I think this might be the build I talked about earlier with a lot of oracles, but he didn't start anything else than the initial few Stargate units that he made. That was the 1 Void Ray and then the 2 oracles. So we'll have to wait and see. He might be waiting to have enough gas to start 3 at once. Because he would hide most of them for a long time anyway, and then try and attack the 4th or something like that.
No, there's a 3rd oracle being made. All right, man. You think he's going to take to the skies?
I think so.
I think so too. I want to see what these Stargates are going to make. He actually almost lost an oracle if he didn't actually just straight up lose said oracle. Nope, it's got a little bit of health left. It's going to make its way out of there. A Void Ray being queued up, but also 2 oracles, which is always interesting. And I love this from Elazer. This is part of what actually really gave Haz a hard time earlier. I think it was against Cyril. No, maybe not. Anyways, I'm confusing the matchups. But the point is, if you're on top of your scouting with Lings, a little bit of damage is nice, but always seeing what's coming out is a big deal.
And they're very inexpensive as well.
Right. That's a 4th Nexus, by the way.
Yeah, that's the thing with Haz when he goes for this and he gets a ton of oracles. He's super comfortable. Not just going on the offense with them if he wants to, if he thinks there's not going to be enough entire, but you can also set a lot of Stasis Ward. Like non-stop Stasis Ward once you reach a certain amount of oracles, which is going to reach very quickly in this game with his 4 Stargates. So,
oh my God.
And then you can go into, if you want, into carriers. But usually from Haz, you'll see something crazy like 30 plus oracles, which is absolute insanity.
This is not what David Kim intended for these things, oracles. He's like, it'll be a great harass unit, but Haz had other intentions. Here he comes, maximum lasers. They're going to show up. There is a few queens here and just the 2 spore crawlers, excuse me. That's too much for the oracles. He'll have to wait till he's got 30. So does he show it, Todd, or does he hide it? That he's
well, he's already shown that he's making this many, and that reveals that he's got a lot of Stargates. But it's still very hard to play against this, especially the first time that you're going to play against it. I mean, I can only guess that Elazer has not played a whole lot against this style, right?
No.
So for him to react properly to it, like what is he supposed to do? Kind of turtle? Here we go. The oracles are going to fly into the natural base there, and there just isn't enough. It's just the 1 spore. The queens die instantly, and Elazer is going to be taking a ton of damage. What if he's just going to die?
This is the big brother build of harass. The oracle's like, wow, beautiful micro. Now it's just like, lasers!
Shoot everything.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. Hydra's going to come out here. So many drones have already died, though.
He's running out of energy. Maybe a good time to pull back now.
They got to retreat for now. And they just like look over their shoulder and say, "We'll be back when we charge our batteries." Driving off.
You know what
done.
You know what I hate about this?
What do you hate, Todd?
Has made warp gates. If this was Roddy,
oh wow,
there'd be the +1 already started and finished, and this would be even better.
Yeah. But to be fair, if this were Roddy and the Zerg were Pig, then this game would have been over hours ago. Know what I'm saying? If you guys watch that caster tournament. Otherwise, that joke makes no sense to you. But what is the follow-up? Todd talked about some weird stuff. Sometimes he can go into carriage, or sometimes he can just keep making oracles.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's what he's doing right now.
Elazer has no idea as well.
Well, he's got some idea.
Well, he's gonna see the oracles now, but then when he gets the idea and when he gets laser to death. I can't even talk anymore, man.
Well, you don't have to. Look at the oracles. Doesn't it get to a certain point where there's just too many Hydras, though, and the oracles just lose?
You would think that, but watch this.
Are they jumping on top of
Watch this.
Lasers. Got him.
He actually trades.
Yeah, it was actually pretty bad.
Elazer holds.
Supply slipping a little bit more in favor of Elazer. How is the reload factor of oracles? Well, he's making like 5 at a time.
Yeah, but counter-attacking like that when there's this many cannons, overcharges is still very hard. So even if like he runs low on oracles, and also stasis wards, they get put down very quickly. Like you place them super fast. All you need is one tag on the Hydralist to kind of keep tabs on them, and from there you can defensively be very sound. 2 more targets.
Yeah,
that is not for carriers. That is for more oracles.
82 probes out there, Todd. 82 probes. And he's taking a 5th base, and that's the part that really concerns me. I do think we get to a point where there's too many Hydras.
Look at how he's fortifying it as well.
Really good, as you pointed out.
You know, you were quoting Greg earlier. I think if he was watching this, he'd say, nice skill you got making oracles.
He would start talking right now. Yeah, he'd be typing. But here come the Hydras, and I do really believe...
Useful skill to have. That's the quote, right?
There you go, Todd. I do believe there is a critical mass of Hydras, though. It does hit a certain point where oracles actually are going to fall off really hard. Maybe not even just the oracles, but or the Hydra, excuse me, but the upgrades. We got +2 attack about to finish. Some Banelings, some Hydra speed. He's going to jump on this base.
That's the thing. Oracles have so much mobility that he can just run away from the main army of Elazer and laser him down where he's not.
He could. 16 more drones do die, and carriers are going to come out. So this becomes a delay tactic, and Elazer's aware of that. He's moving across the map. The drones did die, but the army did not. And behind this, Todd talked about it. There's cannons, there's photon overcharge,
and he's adding more.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching a replay of Warcraft 3.
Oh, wow.
Right there. You might not have masonry, but that's a whole lot of cannons there and overcharges available. Yeah, Elazer sees that. He's like, hell no.
Well, he's going to need a lot more than that.
No.
Speed about to finish with the Banelings.
These Hydralists are tagged as well, so Has can easily go around.
He's just buying time,
right
though.
There.
He's just trying to flaunt it a little bit.
No stasis wards at home, though.
Yeah, and this is the part that worries me. He can just go over here. Is there no? That's not enough cannons. And that is an Artosis spawn. He's got to be careful.
Yeah, but to reach it, you have to go through a lot of cannons.
That's true. That is true.
All right, let's see if Banelings can
going for it.
put it to work against this here. Carriers still on the way. Just 2 pylons here powering all of this.
Oh, I mean, look how fast they die.
Yeah, against upgraded units, they do die fast, but there were still overcharges here to help with this.
I'm getting worried here a bit. The carriers coming out are going to be a saving grace. Cannons themselves against upgraded Hydras don't do very well, especially the Banelings. And here we go. He's going to push forward again. The carrier getting a little bit too far forward. Just a few interceptors. They die almost immediately. There's no pylons for the photon overcharge. Hydra army is starting to dwindle a little bit, though. Look at the supply. They're plummeting a little bit. Here come the Oracles. They're going to try to fight from the flank. It's too much.
He triggered these Oracles very, very late here.
It's not too much.
Are going to keep on coming in there, and there's still a lot of them left over. All interceptors have died, so he needs to evacuate this base. He's still quite a bit ahead in supply. If he holds this, he's going to be in a great position.
Well, it's a tough hold so far. He's losing the base right now. The cans are all gone. The Hydra are there. Supply still in favor, has a little bit. There's some cannons back here, oddly enough, as well. A stasis ward gets picked off before going down. Carry comes out to a harsh new world. The Hydra's getting on top of the Stargates. He's going to pull the probes. He needs to hold this, Todd. It's his whole life here in the tournament.
Hey, Elazer, this is also a very important attack. He needed to do this much damage. He's going to kill a lot of more probes, but the carriers, I think, are going to be left over. And from there, Hash should have enough economy here to retake that base. And I mean, this is Abyssal Rift, right? Like, they just both take
Yeah.
5 bases. Eventually, if Haas can hold this, which he should be able to here from there. And +2 is about to
35
finish.
probes have died. He had 91 before they started dying. Elazer's going into this, and the supply has tipped in favor of Haas. In a weird world, does he just lose a base but win the game because it just wasn't enough?
Elazer did him a favor by lowering his walker count. Now Haas's Golden Armada is going to be that much scarier.
All right. Could be the case. But now the carriers have hit a number that's pretty strong. It's a good 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah, 8 carriers against 22 Hydralisks.
I favor the carriers.
And they have +2 as well. That's a big deal. They do so much damage. Look at these guys.
Elazer in a weird game here, facing Mass Oracle and cannoned bases, reminiscent of some kind of weird like island map in Brood War.
Dire Straits.
Yeah, Dire Straits maybe. Didn't really have Oracles, but we had Corsairs. More of that in August. We'll all be checking out StarCraft 2 Remastered.
You mean some HD Corsairs?
Oh yeah, they're gonna be gorgeous.
4K Corsairs.
Gorgeous. But where do you go if you're a Laser? He leaned into this pretty heavily. If you look at that production tab, he's adding more Hydras, more Lings.
Yeah.
He's not teching. He's not expanding.
Haas is so confident he actually started +3 here. I'd be worried, you know, I'd die to the next attack. He's like, nah, let me get these attack upgrades and then just smack you around with my carriers.
Well, those upgrades are really important for the Stargate units. Actually, it has a huge impact because there's so many interceptors doing so many shots that upgrade exponentially becomes that much more powerful. But I feel like Haas is playing this correctly. He doesn't have to be aggressive. He defended. He had so many probes that despite losing 35, he was actually still slightly ahead of Elazer at the moment. He's behind now, but just by a little. And Elazer's got the end game in sight. But as I say that, of course, he's adding Infestation Pit and drones. It looks like he's going for plan B as well, Todd.
Yeah, remaking some oracles there. That's interesting from Haas. I think he wants to
tag, I guess?
Yeah, and also some stasis walls would be very helpful if you can trap many units here and there.
Okay. I mean, he's going to go out here and see what's going on. He hasn't seen Elazer's game plan for a while.
14 carriers against 44 Hydralisks. I feel like this should be like a Micro Wars battle, but in this case, it's a real game with pylons and overcharged defensively. Cannons already set up for Haas.
You know what Elazer did, though, which I'm really liking so far, is he's just got that army on the left side. It's not to attack with, it's to counter-attack with. So if the carriers make their way to the middle of the map, this plan is to go in on that base and really start to kind of clamp on the soft underbelly.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is, and like you were saying, Haas is 14-plus carriers at this point in time. So he's hit that army that is like very close to unkillable, very powerful. And if he just never attacks and starts making more cannons, makes gateways, or whatever, has like a backup plan for a bank, then all of a sudden these Hydras that Elazer's sitting on become very problematic.
Elazer made some room there, killing one of his own Hydralisks to replace that with some Infestors. I think he might want to go into Neural Parasite eventually, but actually, Fungal, if those carriers clump up, he's going to do a ton of damage as well.
Yeah.
And then the Hydralisks, that's when they will go to work and get rid of those carriers super quickly. But when I see this much carriers, usually Protoss is not losing. Very rarely will it happens. I think the last time was during Challenger when Jon Snow beats multiple carrier armies, but I feel like he was also on the Protoss that really messed up. I don't think that Haas will mess up from there.
Well, there's that Neural Parasite you were talking about, just now getting queued up, and we've seen some magic with it, so that's a nice little trump card that Elazer can play and kind of go for here. I do have to say that there is this weird tipping point where Haas was like so far ahead, his army can never die, he's on the equal number of bases, that's all really good. But if he waits too long and Elazer like double or triple expands
and gets
trades
like
out some
spores.
Hydras, a bunch of spores.
40 spores do pretty well in support with an army against a lot of interceptors and carriers.
Yeah, as Caleris would say, Todd. Spores in an army do pretty well. Thank you. Very safe comment. But the Oracles, what I like about Haas play here too is he's not scouting with his army. He's scouting with the Oracles to then push out with the army. So here he goes. He's coming out.
It's very important to have these Oracles. I mean, he didn't go for a Robo. Usually you'd want a Robo and an Observer in case there is a couple burrowed Infestors that go for Neural Parasite.
And why wouldn't they be burrowed, right?
And Mothership in particular. Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't they?
They can do everything they can above ground, below ground. Here's that counterattack we were talking about. It's going to show up here. There's a few cannons, but for the most part, this is a troublesome thing. Haas is going to go for it, though. He's fighting the army, and there's the Spore Crawlers. Hydra's behind it, but there's so many Interceptors. The Infestors do get their upgrades. They're here. There's no detection just yet. They grab the Mothership. Can they grab more than that? The Fungal's on top.
There was time to use Revelation here from Haas. These carriers are going to be mind controlled.
Uh-oh, but was it enough? doing a little bit of damage to each other. He just can't see the infestors. But unfortunately, mind control's nice, but if you don't have any backup for it, it's just kind of not that great, actually.
There was not enough neural. I think, I mean, after he got the carriers, he should have targeted the mothership maybe. Then he would have been able to see the entire army, but there were not enough infestors anyway. And it looks like Haz is just going to completely steamroll this army. And from there, Elazer, I find the double spire very ambitious, by the way. He had like 150 gas left over after that started.
Ambitious.
How rich do you think you are?
It's the caster language for it. That was dumb. But this army's just too big. It's just absolutely too big. It's going to steamroll through here, as Todd said. I do like what Elazer's doing. He's burrowing, trying to preserve his units. He still does have all those infestors, and there are no observers out here. So if the oracles can lose energy or not be a part of the fight, some weird stuff can happen. Oh, he's just going to recall back. He's going to play it safe.
Can we take a look at Elazer's vision quickly? I just love it watching this. He sees a blur chasing him.
Yeah.
And he dies. And for once, it's not DT.
It's the Predator, man. It's got that Predator vision.
Get that mud on you.
Get to the chopper! But there is no chopper. There's only more death. And instead of the Predator, it's like a bunch of spaceships with littler spaceships just shooting them everywhere, followed by a biodome. Like, can you imagine the mothership? What is
like
that?
a great script for a movie. StarCraft 2 coming to theaters.
It's like a Protoss Zit flying in the air. It's death, man. It's going to be tough. Moving towards what Elazer has left. And he's made a bunch of spore claws, but we just, at this point in time...
Oh, the revelation? Does he use revelation? Yes, he gets all the infestors this time. And that's going to be it here, I think, for Elazer, who's going to lose everything after this neural parasite ends. Even though he's trying to put up a fight
half the
right
army
now.
is Zerg right now.
Yeah, I don't think the carriers are dying fast enough for this to somehow work. Look at the supply control.
Yeah.
Haz
is on the board. Elazer tried some fancy footwork, but it just simply wasn't enough. He went through that closet into Haz's Narnia. When you do that, stuff gets weird. It's really, really weird.
That's one way to say it.
You know?
Yeah, Haz actually, for him to try that after being down 0-2, you know, like some players would just do that because they're getting desperate, but no. That's actually a build order that he does and has done pretty often, and that he's pretty good with. That's what makes it so hard to face this.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Todd. That's what I like about Haz matches is you'd be like, well, okay, there goes the 3 gimmick plays he's got, so surely he's run a dry. Nope. Haz in between camera shots there is going to flip through his notebook. He's on page 93, tab 7. He's like, well, I remember that build. I did it in the summer of 2016 against a young Peruvian Protoss. I'll do it here as well against a Zerg. It doesn't matter. We're going to head to Odyssey. Another decent map for Protoss, but I don't think that really factors in super hard for Haz.
I feel like if there were ever some maps where like I feel like Haz would be more successful and it could be tricky and it'd work and stuff, Odyssey is probably not one of them. I'd say like Sequencer, Abyssal, definitely a lot more so. So probably bad news, but we'll see. He always has a couple tricks, and by that I really mean dirty builds up his sleeve.
And now it becomes a little bit of a gut check moment for Elazer. The first 2 games went completely swimmingly well. The first game was just like zealots showing up and dying. And then game 2 was just Elazer having a field day scouting and just crushing. So is he going to be able to bounce back? He knows that this was a good draw for him. Of all the players in the round of 16, there's some real doozies out there, and he knows he's got a tough one if he gets past this with Nurchio and Cyril at the top of this bracket. But for right now, he's facing Haz, and this is a player he's supposed to beat. But he's just lost a game. He kind of did so in a weird way. Even in this game, he scouted everything. He seemed to be in okay shape. His attack was going well.
I think he stopped scouting after he saw like the initial Stargate.
Yeah.
And then, like, he was surprised by the first few oracles. I feel like if that happens, you're super far behind. But then remember what happened on his natural. He lost a ton of drones, the Queens, the Spores, and then even the Hydralis. He pretty much lost everything. And then after that, that's when he had to go for the timing, like the, so to speak, all-in, or when attack he needed to do a lot with.
I want to go back to your earlier comment too, though. I like that. It's if you're a Elazer, you've probably faced that like literally 4 or 5 times in the thousands of games you've played to practice. And that means that your reactions or what you think is correct or how you handle it is, of course, at a very disadvantage. It's very limited in terms of what you think could or could not work. Whereas if you're Haz, he's done that 100 times or whatever. He does it quite often. We know that to be true. So it's a tough spot to be in. Elazer's just going to want this series to normalize because if it does just get down to basic mechanics, he should be favored heavily. And on Odyssey, like Todd said, that can tend to happen. It's going to become a map that's very decided at the third base.
I really feel like if Elazer plays solid, just keeps on scouting throughout. Like it's also like a very small main base here. You can see very easily what Has going to, but then again, he could have proxies on the map. There are gold bases, which has been known to take at times.
Gold bases, yeah. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going into game number 4 in this best of 5s. Currently, we have our guy here in the lower right-hand side, the Blue Zerg from Poland, Elazer. That's not him. He's wearing a blue shirt, though. But that, you know what? That's Has. Yeah.
So is this.
It's Has. Thank you. I'll tell you what. Our observers are some funny guys. We got Coca and Funka back there. 2 French people.
2 French
What
observers.
is it about the French that make them such great observers, Todd?
I don't know. They like to watch.
Yeah. I think that's a safe thing to say. Oh, no. Production. We're not reintroducing the players. Thanks, though. We actually already did that. You guys just witnessed. That could be In Control's final moment as a caster, but sometimes you gotta just call it like it is. Can't do it. And now, Has is gonna show up. He's got a 1-gate expand, but what's weird about it this time, Todd? That's what are we looking at here? It's an above ramp gateway.
So far, everything's normal. That's what's scary.
That's normal?
I guess the wall is a bit weird, but
Yeah,
other than
weird.
that, it's just going to be the core starting after the Nexus. Like, sure, there is a lack of wall at the natural, but he can just fix that later.
Yeah, it just takes more of an investment. Like, I feel like when I look at this, I'm guaranteed that he's going to make 3 or 4 gateways at the natural early.
Oh, you can get your tech in it, right?
Yeah, but
You don't
what, like a Stargate? I still feel like he has to make a gateway or 2. It kind of sells what he's doing, in my opinion. You watch. Or maybe he
that's fine.
completely blows my mind.
Getting 2 gateways is fine, no? Because
It is
you
fine.
need to make them anyway.
No, but Todd, what I'm trying to tell you, and it's weird we're having this discussion right now, but it means he has to do those things, whereas in the other games, he didn't have to open 3 gateways. Whereas with this wall in, he now has to. So yeah, it could be a Stargate, but it's got to be then a Forge and then 2 gateways or something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's just not walling in, which is also...
I think he doesn't have to do the damn thing, Jeff. It's
You're
Has
right.
we're talking about.
He's got his choices, you're right.
He'll do whatever he wants to do.
Maybe a Nexus?
Yeah, there you go.
Macro Nexus?
Stargate in the wall at the front.
Yeah, man.
In front of that WCS logo.
I like it.
Why not?
Why not? The world is his oyster. The Has oyster. But he's going to make some gateways there. He's going to complete the wall in, so that's what
It's actually crazy how far forward it is as well.
Yeah.
Like really far forward. But yeah, pneumatized carapace. I wonder if he actually cancels that upon seeing the Stargate in the wall there.
He's got a probe out in the map thinking about something weird. It was fidgeting a little bit too much. Thank you. I don't know. Man. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. That's not a misplaced pylon, y'all. It's going to get weird. Todd, call it. What is it before this gets going?
I think he's going to get a gateway there so that he can fast warp in and then
Okay.
Stargate units, in this case, like he's getting Phoenixes into Adepts.
I think he builds a bunch of gateways there.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's not weird enough for it to just be 1 gateway, Todd.
Yeah, I mean...
You gotta quadruple down on that baby.
How many?
It's gonna be like 5. Seriously. You just built
If it
a
gets found,
Phoenix.
then it's 5.
Yeah. It's gonna be the Zealot all in again, I bet. And I don't. Well.
I think Glaives will be way stronger because, like, with Phoenixes, you pick off Overlords and
Okay.
stuff, and then, like, you force Spores all the same.
Okay. Could be.
So Glaives and Adepts definitely would be really strong there. But then again, I mean, Charge is so cheap nowadays that
Why
you can also
not?
go for that.
Yeah.
But then he's still mining gas. Actually, he stopped making
What
Sniper
an
units.
experience it is to just watch this, just kind of guess.
Hey, it's just the one
Oh,
Phoenix.
and it gets scouted. He sees it. 2 gateways canceled. And there's the Dark Shrine built back at home.
Instantly, he knew. He had a plan B, he has a plan C.
Well, he had to flip over a couple pages. Like, gosh darn it. On to page 103, section 7. Good scout, though, by Elazer, by the way. There's no other way to paint this. That means there's not going to be a forward gateway. He sees that he was trying to Twilight text something here.
This is what I was talking about the entire series, even before it started. Be on top of your scouting defense. Congratulations, you won the game.
Yeah.
So far, The scouting and the defense is going to be there here for Elazer. He's getting ready for everything. He's taking to lair. And he's getting links.
And we're in nightmare mode.
And he has force.
For Haz. Haz is doing a third, which is fine. He's got a Dark Shrine, but no way to like make that aggressive, so it's a defensive Dark Shrine. There's a bunch of Lings making their way over to his base. The third could be in jeopardy if Elazer scouts that. He's going to poke and prod at the front, see that nothing is much to do there.
Wow.
Well, there's 3 pylons, I guess. To be fair, he never would have gotten
Has
that.
started 2 more Stargates just now.
Yeah.
The Overlord was going to fly above them. He canceled them before the Overlord saw them.
So now we're at plan D. Dark Shrine gets scouted. We're at E.
No, that was the plan D. So that was, anyway, we're way past. Like,
Yeah, that's what
oh
I'm
my
saying.
God, Links actually get in.
Yeah, and they weren't even invited.
Has is falling apart here a little bit.
A lot. He's falling apart a lot. And yeah, some probes are going to go down here. Mothership Core was all the way at the third, but it kind of has to stay there because if it pulls off of that, then the third is suspect. Ultimately, these Lings will be cleaned up, but they're doing some damage. And now there's like 3 more gateways. Sorry, it's rather, excuse me.
3 more Stargates on his third base.
Why not? There's another beautiful wall in. Do it.
Well, because he's going to die, I think, doing this.
Oh,
We
wow,
don't see how he's supposed to defend. Then he can attack with Hydralisks on his third base if he's going Stargate units.
I agree. I do like those Dark Templar, Todd, and I like the word you used earlier and called it ambitious. This is very ambitious, and it's actually really bad.
Oh, no.
Oh, jeez. I like how they were like, gosh, you're not dead yet. All right, fine. Show back up. So yeah, behind this, as Todd pointed out, it is just being upgraded. Hydra's a 4th base, the gold being taken for Elazer. Right now, it doesn't look like it on paper, but just the way this is setting up, Haz is as about as dead as you can get. To come back from this would be amazing. He's going to go back to the weird Oracle stuff, which does play to his favor a little bit, Todd, but he is so far behind against such a well-prepared Elazer that I can't see it.
When you go for this, all it takes is 1 mistake from the opponent, and somehow you can make this Oracle build work. And I guess people do make a lot of mistakes against it, but I just feel like from this position, Elazer, if he just makes units, just makes a ton of Hydralisks and then attack, has an overseer with his army, there is no way he should ever lose to this.
Yeah.
He's droning up a little bit more. I guess he has the gold on the way, so Elazer can actually take his time a little bit more than before.
Yeah, what Haz has going for him a little bit is that Oracles do build pretty fast, and his economy hasn't really been touched. We've talked about all his aggressive plans getting foiled, but he's got a decent worker force. He is at 3 bases, so there will be some Oracles here. And Todd, you were talking about it, you showed me, Oracles can jump on Hydras and win the fight.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty impressive that they can do that.
And if they do that just one time, you're in a lot of trouble here as the Zerg player, because then replenishing that Hydra count, there's still going to be more Oracles coming out. Like, Oracles, they come out pretty quick.
Yes,
when you're chrono boosting them out, then they're going to grow forces very, very fast. And he's actually saving up a lot of energy here, as Haz, for, I think, the attack that he thinks is going to come his way.
Elaser's going to show up at the 4th base. He sees the Oracles, though. That's a pretty big tell. I guess Haz figures he just has to use them here to defend. Very smart not queuing up all of them, but oh wow, he's actually going to kind of bleed in. That's just half the Oracles. A critical mistake here. He's down 1-2. That could have been it. And Elazer's going to push forward. He's not on creep. He's getting on top of the cans. They're all canceled. The 4th base probably not going to come today here. It's gone. And this Hydra force is not super amazing, but it got a very fortuitous attack. He's going for the drop.
Wow, Elazer looking to try and drop the main base. I think he
weird.
knows that if he gets where there is no photon overcharge, he's just going to be Hydralist against these Oracles by
it's like 8
themselves.
Hydras, Todd. This is a really weird call.
Well, he's going to get the Mothership Core, at least with this, and then he can rally the new units towards the 3rd base.
Don't like this at all.
I can pick up, actually. There is no entire.
All right, it gets a little bit cuter, I guess.
There is one Phoenix out on the map. That's the single entire here.
Can he just warp in a DT in there and stop that drop in the main? Is Elazer working as hard as he can to try and make this look interesting? I can't. Right?
Yeah. I guess he can pick
He
up.
only has 1 gate, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he can pick up every time. Where's that one Phoenix when you need him? That guy's resting.
Oh, he's lazy. Ugh. Scouting a base that no one's taken. Well, Haz is on 3 bases and really only kind of 3 bases. His main base is in a lot of trouble. The Oracle Force did kill a ton of Hydras, but ultimately Elazer's still up in quite a bit of ways.
The Phoenix is coming.
Your time of tomfoolery is coming to an end. Set my lasers to slightly lethal. Ugh. Watch them pick it off. Pick it off. That'd be so funny.
They're gonna, oh!
Do
he's
it.
not targeting.
No, save the Overlord.
He's gonna die. Oh
yes,
my god.
Literally, that's all the anti-air. Okay, well, I'm entertained. That was it.
Could you not be?
Doesn't really matter. Oh.
Oracles are gonna have to fly back. No pickup this
What?
time. Oh, there was one.
The Overlord's like, don't come up here with your lasers.
Yeah, Elazer's gonna attack the third base here momentarily with a ton of Hydralisk, and at this point,
Todd, you're focusing on all the wrong things. That single Hydra dying right there was the most important thing. Can't believe you're talking about the third base in a game like this. Elazer's at 180 supply, Army at 111. Todd, did we hit critical mass? Can that beat the Oracles? I actually don't know. Does that beat it? Tell me. You're gonna wait.
No.
Well, you're right, Todd.
I'm still not sure. Where's their drones?
Oh, man. That was impressive. But ultimately, Haz is just digging out water in his sinking ship, and we're going to do
Oh my
this
God.
again.
If I didn't know better, I'd say like two AI on Insane are facing each other.
Well, makes for a great game. Good job on the computer. And that one
Look at
Hydra.
it. What
shows
is
up.
this like? What is this scene? One Hydralisk and one Ling attacking a Nexus.
It's beautiful. This is
The last time I saw this, it was like rehearsals and AIs were facing one another. But that's the kind of game that Haz provokes. Like, these are great players, but he just has such a funky style that so many of his games, so many of his series are going to become scrappy, and there are going to be actions that we don't ever see, armies that we don't usually see facing one another. In this case, it's mono battle. Oracles against Hydralisks.
Yeah, it's coming to an end, though, Todd. This has been fun. He put up a fight, but Elazer is the more equipped player. The fourth base attempt has been shut down. The Hydras are amassing. They're right outside where the Stargates are. They'll at least kill the Stargates. The Oracles are going to show up and try to stop this. Here's going to be the big fight. They jump on top of the Hydras, but they've been weathered down to a count that just cannot do it. And maybe they hold off the front end of this, but there's too much Zerg coming, and has been eliminated. Elazer with, I don't know what that was. A little face wobble, a chug of the water, but a good, interesting series. And that's Haz. Like that's the artist formerly known as Haz. He shows up, things get weird, and then we're like, all right, thank you, Haz.
People make different faces when they see his games and when they face him, apparently.
Not him, though. Always the same face from Haz. Total focus. But that was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. Elazer coming through in the end, 3-1, and now on stage with Smix.
Thank you very much, In Control. First of all, congratulations, Elazer. You are moving on to the round of 8, and especially since you missed WCS Austin, I can't help but feel it must feel even better to be able to secure those WCS points by moving on to the quarterfinals here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it feels great to be again in the top 8 of the WCS standings, and top 8 pretty much confirms it that I'm staying. And yeah, there's one more event. If I do as well there, I will be going to BlizzCon, so it feels great.
Well, let's talk about this series because first 2 games is pretty dominant, not much to talk about, but Abyssal Reef was pretty interesting. Do you think that the Oracle damage early on was just too much, or what do you think happened there?
I mean, yeah, obviously I expected Oracles, but I saw he's doing so many, like he had 4 bases, so I didn't expect the Oracles. But I guess he just has the economy figured out for this build, and he had so many units. Yeah, I just didn't expect that many Oracles. When I lost all the queens, it was over. But actually, the first game wasn't that dominant. The one with the Zealot, like, if he only, like, in the initial attack, if it was faster, I think he would catch all my Hydras and I would die there also. So it was pretty scary.
So what is it like playing against a player like Haz? I saw after the series, when you won, you kind of shook your head. Talk to us about that.
Well, yeah, obviously I expected an easy 3-0 pretty much because my scouting is pretty good for a foreign, like for a Zerg player, so it has usually isn't a problem for me. Like last 2 series, I think I won both of them 3-0. So yeah, like the first 2 games kind of worked in like I expected, and the third game, just a mistake.
Well, up next, you're going to be playing Nurchio, and you have a long history of playing Nurchio, a lot of games there, and for a long time, he was winning against you, but recently, this year, you've actually turned the tide, and you were able to win a lot of series against him. So how do you think that ZVZ is going to pan out?
I think it's going to be quite even. I'm actually quite confident in my ZVZ, and Nurchio versus Stefano, even though he won 3-0, right? Like, it looked like the score is pretty good, but he didn't look that incredibly strong. So yeah, I feel pretty good. And about the score on Aligu, like he fired me when I was in Diamond League. Like it shouldn't count.
Well, we'll see how that quarterfinal match pans out. Congratulations again. I'm moving on to the round of 8, and with that, we have our Polish quarterfinal match set.
Yes, we do. I've never seen a man look so confused during an interview after taking a series. 3-1 goes over to Elazer. And who would have thought coming out of that series that Haas actually took the longest game in the series there, Rotterdam, with his ever-prolonged carrier build?
Yeah, Abyssal was quite a treat to watch. I mean, we saw a ridiculous amount of oracles. I have no idea how many died. It was fun. We definitely needed that as well, I feel, for this series, because the first 2 games, that was kind of what I was afraid for, you know. Right. Game number 1, I agree, by the way, with Elazer, we're looking at it, and we're like, if he sends the Zealots on the right side of the Hydras, and he makes sure that those Zealots cannot run up to the main, I really think that that game can just straight up end there, because Elazer made quite a few drones, and, you know, a couple of extra Zealots show up, it could have been very, very rough. But, you know, the moment that the Hydras could actually micro their way all the way back into the main, that's when Elazer gets enough time to get reinforcements and clean it up. Game number 2, I mean, Pick, what did we see there in the first 3 minutes? Maybe you can
I think a few people had, you know, a lot of Jaedong fanboys out there, had a bit of a flashback to 2013.
Polar Knight or something?
Yeah, it was like Polar Knight when he eliminated Jaedong with a pylon wall just like that into a cannon rush. Tried to do the same thing, and he kind of just freaked out. He just kept building pylons. He couldn't get the wall up. That drone was there. I was actually very surprised he took a game after that, because I thought mentally, you know, you might fall apart. But he did come back. He brought out the style he's been doing for over a year now, which is mass oracles into more oracles, into 6 more Stargates, and then more oracles. And carries about 20 minutes after that happens. And he did it, and he did it pretty well. There was a dicey moment there where you know, Elazer almost broke him. But at the end of it, I mean, that oracle count is just so frightening, and it's got so much mobility.
Far more power behind it than I would ever expect when it's going up against that many Hydras. Let's check in with the bracket and see exactly what has gone on so far here, as we are halfway through our games for today. And Piggly Wiggly, look at that. 4 Zergs rocketing through, guaranteeing us not only a ZV, but also a guaranteed Zerg in the final to start things off, Pig.
Yeah, lots of Zerg action there in the upper side, but we are about to go into the second part of the day, and that's going to be a lot of Terrans, a lot of Protoss, TVTs, PvPs coming up, and tomorrow there'll be plenty of roaches, Roddy.
Okay.
You almost ignored him, and that was almost there. It was almost perfect. But
what can we say, Clara? It's just a lot of Zerg on the upside of the bracket.
I'm not going to disagree. There could be a few more.
They're all very talented. I'm not taking anything away from them, and they tend to just be the better player. But could it be? Could it be something else? I don't know.
I'm going to throw my notebook away, and we'll find out later on. We're going to go to a short break here for WCS Valencia. When we are back, we move into the lower part here of our round of 16. We're going to have a Terran versus Terran coming up here in Valencia.